Good morning. On this day, Anzac Day 2020, RSLWA thanks every West Australian who have risen from their beds to pay their respects to the men and women who served and still serve their nation in times of conflict. We unite this morning to recognise their bravery, their courage, their selfless comradeship, and to honour those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. Lest we forget.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please remain standing if possible for the singing of the New Zealand and Australian national anthems.
Oh,
The first Anzac Day commemorations were held on April 25, 1916. The day was marked by ceremonies across Australia, a march through London, and a sports day in the Australian camp in Egypt. Anzac Day 2020, we remember. Lest we forget, indeed. Thank you for getting up, and thank you for remembering. Let's hear from the Prime Minister. Anzac Day 2020, commemorating the 75th anniversary of the end of the Second World War.
I'm Matt McLaughlin. With his reflection on Anzac Day 2020 and the 105-year tradition of our National Day of Commemoration, here's the Prime Minister of Australia, Scott Morrison.
More so than any other day, Anzac Day reminds us of who we are as a people, as Australians. It's a time to stop, to remember, and to be thankful for the incredible gift we have been given to be an Australian, and to say thank you to those who paid the ultimate price for that to be possible. It's our most sacred day. This year, our Anzac Day traditions have been interrupted, but not for the first time. When the first Anzacs returned at the end of the First World War, their very first Anzac Day at home coincided with the outbreak of the Spanish flu here in Australia. That pandemic affected almost 40% of our population at the time in Australia and took 15,000 lives. Worldwide, it cost 50 million lives. So in 1919, there were no citywide Anzac Day parades or marches for the veterans who had just won a great war. So it will be this year. And at times during the Second World War, gatherings were curtailed and memorials closed because of the fear of Japanese air raids. All of those occasions reflected not a rejection of our history or a forgetting of it, but our embrace of it. Because on those Anzac days, everyone was very much in the fight, defending Australia, defending lives, defending livelihoods. This year, we reflect not only on the service and the sacrifice of those who have served, but the values that underpin their actions, their endurance, their courage, their mateship, their sacrifice and selflessness, their stoicism, service, generosity, and their unquenching loyalty to each other. Values that resulted in so many Australians doing extraordinary things. This year, the lesson of Anzac Day is that when Australians support each other, as they did through those generations until now, then we can withstand any hardship. We can overcome any enemy, including this virus, that threatens us this day, this Anzac Day, more than 100 years after our Anzacs first hit that beach in Gallipoli. We thank them for their sacrifice, but in this time, we also thank them for their example for us to follow, lest we forget.
Lest we forget, indeed. Thank you, Prime Minister. 6:11. What was it like in your suburb? Were people out en masse with their candles, or was it just you? We'd love to hear from you this morning. 922 11882. Tell us how Anzac Day 2020 was for you.